Cities that never sleep can feel like a trap for your wallet. If you want to live well there without burning through your savings, you need a plan you can actually follow. Here's a practical framework I use, one that focuses on real choices, not grand promises. It's built for expensive cities, but the ideas scale to almost any place where the price tag seems too loud. First, the big idea. Housing is the leverage point. In most cities, rent chews up the largest slice of income. If you fix where you live first, everything else becomes easier to manage. Think about your housing in three options: share somewhere decent, rent a smaller place on your own, or live a bit farther from the core and ride transit. Each option has trade-offs, but the math is simple. Base your decision on how much money you want left after essentials, not on status or vibes alone. If you're renting in a pricey city, the rule of thumb is to keep housing costs under about 30% of your take-home pay. In real numbers, if you bring home $4,000 a month, that means around $1,200 to $1,400 for rent. If you can't find something in that range, you may need to consider roommates, smaller space, or a different neighborhood. What about your commute? Transportation isn't just gas or a subway fare. It's time, stress, and hidden costs like food on the go or parking. Try to live within a reasonable distance of work and groceries. A shorter ride can save more than a longer, nicer apartment ever will. Next up, a simple spending map. Break your month into two buckets: essentials and everything else. Essentials cover housing, food you cook at home, utilities, transit, insurance, and minimum debt payments. Everything else is optional or discretionary. To start, track every dollar for 2 weeks. You'll be surprised by how many small leaks appear: the daily coffee, the impulse online purchase, the pricey gym that you only use once a week. When you see the numbers, you can plug the leaks one by one. A good trick is to set a hard cap on discretionary spending. For most people in expensive cities, that cap is a fixed amount each week or month. It's not a punishment, it's a boundary that keeps you in control. Food is often where people slip. Cooking at home, even when you're tired, saves more money than you expect. Plan meals around affordable staples and what's on sale. Batch cook on Sundays and use simple ingredients that stretch across multiple meals. Smart grocery habits matter. Compare unit prices, buy generic brands, and fill your cart with stable staples rather than impulse items. Use a list and stick to it, but allow yourself a small weekly treat from a fixed budget so you don't feel deprived. Household energy and utilities get easier when you turn small habits into routines. Turn lights off, use smart thermostats, and run full loads in the washer and dishwasher. Small tweaks add up over a month, then a year, then a decade. If you're living in an expensive city, you'll probably use public transit or bikes a lot. Owning a car in a city often costs more than you expect, with parking, insurance, maintenance, and fuel. If you can get by without a car, you'll notice the monthly savings and the freedom to move when you want. Shopping for essentials can be smarter too. Use price alerts for groceries, take advantage of bulk stores when it makes sense, and don't buy the latest gadget on credit unless you've already saved for it. Delay big purchases by 24 to 72 hours to quiet the impulse. Now, a key shift: how you handle housing and debt. If you carry high-interest debt, tackle it with a plan that minimizes interest and maximizes payoff speed. The avalanche method, pay off the highest interest debt first, often works best. If you're juggling multiple small debts, the snowball method can keep you motivated. Either way, don't ignore this step. An important part of living below your means is building a buffer you can rely on. Start with an emergency fund of at least 3 months of essential living costs, then grow it to 6 months or more as your comfort rises. This isn't optional. It's your insurance against job changes or unexpected expenses in a place where safety nets feel thin. Once you've stabilized the basics, you can start thinking about money that grows your future rather than money that just fills minutes. The next piece is investing with a plan that fits your life, not a fantasy version of it. Automate your savings and investments. Set up an automatic transfer every payday into a simple, diversified portfolio. If you're new to investing, index funds or broad market ETFs are a good starting point. They're designed to grow with the market and require less day-to-day management. Think in terms of long-term wealth, not quick windfalls. A modest but steady investment habit compounds beyond most people's expectations. If you can save 20% of your income and invest it wisely, you're on a path to real financial resilience over years. Take advantage of tax-advantaged accounts where you live. In many places, you'll find retirement accounts, health savings accounts, or special savings vehicles that let you keep more of what you earn. learn the basics, or talk to a local advisor who can tailor guidance to your situation. A crucial habit is living within a deliberate budget that you don't want to break, but you'll also want margins for growth, investing, learning, and opportunities you can't predict right now. The balance isn't about deprivation, it's about creating space for what matters most to you. Now, a practical 6-week action plan you can start today. Week 1. Track, categorize, and simplify. Record every expense for 14 days. Separate essentials from wants. Identify 2 or 3 obvious leaks like daily lattes, constant takeout, or unused memberships, and cut them back. Week 2. Nail down housing and transit. If your rent is too high, look at 2 alternatives: a shared living situation or a cheaper neighborhood within a reasonable commute. Test a few combinations for 4 weeks to see what actually saves money and feels livable. Week 3. Create a no-nonsense meal plan. Build a 2-week menu based on affordable ingredients. Batch cook, freeze meals, and rotate proteins. You'll see your grocery bills drop and your evenings free from constant cooking. Week 4. Build your sinking funds and buffer. Open separate savings accounts for emergencies, a future goal, and a travel or new skill fund. Automate transfers immediately after every paycheck. Week 5. Start or optimize investing. If you don't already have an investing habit, set up a simple plan. Automatic monthly investments in a low-cost index fund. If you already invest, review fees and reallocate to lower-cost options if needed. Week 6. Grow income and negotiate. Look for small, scalable ways to increase income that fit your strengths. It could be freelancing, tutoring, or a side project that leverages a skill you enjoy. Also, practice a calm salary negotiation script for your current job, focusing on value you bring and market rates. These weeks aren't a punishment. They're a process of learning what works in your city and for your life. If you can finish the first month with a tighter grip on costs and a plan to grow, you'll feel a real difference. Let me share a few less obvious tricks too. In expensive cities, small, smart choices add up. They don't require heroic effort every day, but they require consistency. First, use price-per-use judgments. When you buy something, ask, will I use this item enough to justify its cost? If not, don't buy or borrow it. Second, lean into community resources. Libraries, free workshops, and local meetups often offer more value than you expect. A good library card is a surprisingly powerful tool for saving money and learning new skills. Third, barter your time for value. If you have a marketable skill, you can trade time for services you'd otherwise pay for. A few hours of tutoring could offset a month's worth of internet costs or a gym membership you barely use. Fourth, protect your time as a currency. A long daily commute costs more than money. It costs energy and focus. If possible, consolidate errands to reduce trips or choose a base that minimizes travel. Fifth, partner up for big purchases. If you're buying furniture or electronics, consider buying secondhand with a friend who shares the same taste. It reduces upfront costs and sparks a helpful conversation about how you live. A big piece of living below your means is mindset. It's not that you can't enjoy experiences in an expensive city. You simply choose experiences that fit your budget. You can still dine out, travel occasionally, and enjoy culture, but you do it with intention and planning. The practical advantage is momentum. When you start saving automatically and see your investments grow, you gain confidence. Confidence makes it easier to resist impulse buys and to push a little harder toward bigger financial goals. I've learned that money in the bank is not enough by itself. What matters is money you control, money that works for you, and money that allows you to sleep well at night. If you can free a portion of your income for investing and a portion for your future, you create options you didn't have before. Now let's talk about risk and balance. In expensive cities, the temptation to keep up with peers can push you toward borrowing or overspending. Resist that cycle. Your future self will thank you for choosing a slower, steadier path rather than a flashy but fragile routine. If you're listening and you feel overwhelmed, start with one small change today. It might be as simple as opening a savings account and setting up an automatic transfer. Then, build on that progress week by week. The truth is, you don't need to pretend you love every part of this city to live well here. You need a plan that fits your life, values, and energy. A city can be expensive, but your life doesn't have to be expensive to match it. So, what's your next move? I want to hear from you. Have you tried any of these ideas? Or is there a different approach that has worked for you in an expensive city? Share your experiences in the comments. If you found this approach helpful, hit the like button. It helps this channel reach more people who want to build solid money habits without feeling deprived. If you want more practical, straight-to-the-point guidance, consider subscribing. I'll post more ideas like this and answer questions in upcoming videos. And tell me in the comments what city you live in and what budget challenge you're facing right now. Let's figure this out together.